Strike on Briggs Newman. Just underway here, top of the first inning, no score between Maple Mountain and Spanish Fort. The Golden Eagles, the home team in this ball game, on the visiting team's field. That one blocked behind the plate by Mikey Peterson, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Maple Mountain right now, pretty big outfield here at Nelson Field. All playing pretty straight away. Dawson Hall in center, maybe a step or two in. A breaking ball again settles in. Nielsen gets a little bit maybe deeper off that bag with his secondary lead, but he'll get back pretty quickly. Three balls and a strike. Briggs Newman should see something good here. The 3-1 pitch is swung on, popped up, foul, and the count will go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the count here on Briggs Newman. Newman starting this ball game at first base for the Dons. We'll see the Dons and Brock Beckstrom in the bottom of the inning defensively, and Newman goes down, strikes, the ball kicks away from Mikey Peterson. He'll throw to first in time to complete the strikeout, and the inning is over. So the Dons get a couple of base runners, but strand one, and we head to the bottom of the first inning. No score, and the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles will be coming up here in the bottom of the inning on Spanish Fork 17. Let's go ahead here and thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible today. We want to thank the Car Guys, MVP Sports for our MVP of the game, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, and Mikkel Chris Jansen and Wise Attorneys at Law. We thank them for making this broadcast possible here throughout our ball game here and throughout our high school sports season. We also want to remind you to follow our pages on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook to keep up with the latest shows, live broadcasts, and more. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. So Brock Beckstrom will go out here to take his warm-up tosses here. We saw Beckstrom over the weekend, got the start, believe it was in that game on Friday morning against Juan Diego. And it was, and he kept the Soaring Eagle of Juan Diego. Their bats pretty quiet throughout the game. Of course, the Dons would beat Juan Diego by the 10-run rule. And so now Maple Mountain will get ready to stand in. Tito Dennison in the leadoff spot here for Maple Mountain, as maybe some lineup changes coming here for head coach Gary Miner.
In the bottom of the first inning, number 2, Tito Dennison.
As it will be Tito Dennison, then Dawson Hall. We'll get the Maple Mountain lineup kind of as we go here throughout the first inning or so. And Beckstrom gets in there for a called strike at the knees. It's no balls and 1 strike to count. We saw Dennison over the weekend primarily in that number 2 spot. It was Jake Roberts hitting the leadoff spot for Maple Mountain quite a bit. That one's grounded to second. Andrew Pintar up with it. He'll throw to first in time, and there's 1 away. So 1 gone. Here's Dawson Hall.
Now batting,
Hall had a
3, Dawson Hall.
Coming off of a pretty good weekend overall for Maple Mountain. The Golden Eagles had a difficult time for the most part in the weekend down in Desert Hills, as that one's in there for a called strike. Golden Eagles really just had a hard time getting the bats going. Maple Mountain played their first game on Friday against Pleasant Grove, and they won 6-2 against the Vikings. That one misses low for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And then the bats, after scoring 6 against a very good 5A Pleasant Grove team, the bats just cooled off. Maple Mountain beat Payson 6-3 in their second ball game, and Saturday the bats just cooled completely off for Maple Mountain until they had a hard time scoring runs against Desert Hills. And then, boy, that second game against Payson, they won by the 10-run rule. It was Maple Mountain, those bats kind of came alive. So hopefully, if you're head coach Gary Miner and company, those bats are going to come alive here this evening. That one's fouled back to the screen. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on center fielder Dawson Hall. No score, bottom of the first inning. Brock Beckstrom on the mound for Spanish Fork. Ready to go, the 1-2 pitch on its way, and that one's going to be fouled back, and it will stay 1 ball and 2 strikes. Region 8 play underway. The run now comes to try to finish in the top 4 and qualify for the state playoffs in May. The hope is to have your season go all the way to late May as Hall swings and misses. The first strikeout of the ball game for Brock for Brock Beckstrom. And there's 2 gone in the inning. Here comes the shortstop, Tyson Ellis.
Now batting
So
number
Ellis
15, Tyson Ellis.
will stand in. He takes a first pitch called strike, and no balls and a strike. Ellis was on the mound in game 1 for the Golden Eagles as they look to try to get things going here. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that one fastball misses away, and the count evens up. 1 ball and 1 strike here on Tyson Ellis. Brock Beckstrom trying to build off that outing as Spanish Fork really trying to solidify that starting rotation. Pitch on its way, that one's fouled away, and the count will move to 1-2. Spanish Fork could be a very dangerous team come tournament time with how well they found a way to pitch down in that tournament in St. George. Are going to be a tough team to score runs against in Region 8. The 1-2 pitch on its way, that one's going to be popped up and goes foul. It's 1-2. One thing that Spanish Fork has, especially if they can get a sweep here against Maple Mountain, they got Salem Hills next week. So you're going to get the 2 maybe toughest teams in Region 8, and that might be a little bit of maybe a stretch, as we haven't seen a lot of other teams as the count evens up at 2-2. Springville's looking tough. They're coming off a year where they made it deep into the state tournament. But you get maybe the 2 teams that everyone kind of expected to compete for the Region 8 championship. That one inside and tight for a ball, and it's 3-2. In fact, I think they're going to say it went off the bat handle, and it will be even the count up and stay at 2-2. But you can get Salem Hills and Maple Mountain out of the way. You have an opportunity to build a lot of momentum down the stretch to be playing some of your best baseball heading into the state playoffs. That one just misses low, ball 3 to Tyson Ellis, and the count runs full 3-2. Because oftentimes when you get to the state tournament, it comes down to if you're playing your best baseball. The 3-2 pitch on its way, and Ellis swings and pops it up. Playable on the right side of the infield. Coming in, Brendan Bradford. He'll run it down over toward the foul line, and the first inning comes to an end. Maple Mountain goes down in order, 1, 2, 3. We've played 1 complete here from Nelson Field. No score between Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
In the bottom of the first.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Well, we head to the top of the second inning here from Nelson Field. No score between Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain as the first pitch to Brendan Bradford misses away for ball 1. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. It'll be Brendan Bradford, Josh Cowden, and Tay Newman coming up here for Spanish Fork. And the pitch by Bradford is fouled away, and the count evens up here, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bradford trying to build off of last weekend, where just had one of those weekends where just had a kind of a rough weekend, faced some good pitching, and that one misses away for a ball. That's 2 balls and a strike. But had, as we went into that game against Juan Diego, was able to kind of start to have some good at-bats, had a walk, came around to score a run for the Dons. That one misses away, ball 3, 3 balls and a strike. And now as everything kind of resets, games really begin to matter for both these teams now in Region 8 play. That one swung out and missed, and the count goes full 3-2 on Brendan Bradford. Bradford's had a really good year out of the bullpen. Well, all the times I've seen him, I've only seen him twice out of the pen, and both times for Spanish Fork, he's been seemed to have shut the door for the Dons. The 3-2 pitch on its way, breaking ball called, strike 3 in there. He looks at a breaking ball, and that's going to be the second strikeout for Jeff Seavey on the night. And with one away, here's Josh Cowden, the catcher. Cowden will stand in from the left side for Spanish Fork, as he's really done a great job the last couple of years, especially defensively for Spanish Fork. He'll look to try to see here in this lefty versus lefty matchup if he can try to get the bats going. Playing in at third base is going to be Jake Roberts. And that one swung on and grounded a chopper to line right to Tyson Ellis, who will make the catch for the second out of the inning. So just a line shot right at Tyson Ellis, and with 2 down, here's Tay Newman. Newman came in out of the bullpen in the first game to get the final out. Didn't come in an easy situation. Maple Mountain had runners on first and second, a ball in the dirt. Actually moved the runners into scoring position, and Newman's going to hit this one to right. It's going to fall for a base hit, and Tay Newman's aboard with a 2-out single. The first base hit of the ball game for either team came right there on that single by Tay Newman. Here's Andrew Pintar. Pintar has been a tough out in that bottom part of the lineup for Spanish Fork. Has really kind of opened things up for the Dons and allowed for some good open opportunities here for the Spanish Fork bottom part of the lineup to turn it over to the top. First pitch, Pintar swings through it. I think he was trying to hold up, but swung through it and just couldn't quite hold up in time. It will be no balls and a strike on Andrew Pintar. A good-sized crowd here filling the stands. A lot of people in lawn chairs down both the right field and left field lines. That one misses low, and the count evens up here at 1-1. One of those games where you look at the schedule and you like the idea of whenever Maple Mountain or Spanish Fork plays, but you kind of get the idea that maybe sometimes you like this matchup a little bit later in the season. That one misses for a ball. It's 2 balls and a strike. Top of the second inning, no score between Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain. As you can see, the Wasatch Mountains out in the background there. It was just a little bit of snow covered. We might get some more over the weekend with the rain coming in. Here's the 2-1 breaking ball, blocked in the dirt. Runner takes off for second, and sliding in is going to be Tay Newman as he moves up 90 feet right there. A heads-up base running play. We've seen both these teams really do a great job over the weekend in St. George of being able to run initially when that ball got in the dirt. Spanish Fork put a lot of pressure on the teams they played to make good, accurate throws if they're going to try to get them. Pintar swings through that one and fouls it away, and the count moves to 3-2 on Andrew Pintar. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 gone, top of the second inning. Tay Newman, there he is running on at second base in scoring position. The breaking ball misses off the plate, ball 4. And so Andrew Pintar draws a 2-out free pass, the first allowed tonight by Jeff Seavey. And now here's Jackson Higginson.
Now batting the left fielder, number 1, Jackson Higginson.
So another lefty versus lefty matchup. Good speed on the base pass with Andrew Pintar running there over at first base. He's not being held on by first baseman Caleb Peterson. Higginson takes the first pitch right on the corner with the fastball, and it snowballs and a strike on Jackson Higginson. Jake Roberts playing even with the cutout of the third base grass, playing close to the bag in case the runner takes off, as Higginson kind of checks his swing there, and that one misses for a ball. And it's 1-1 the count here on Jackson Higginson. Double play depth kind of up the middle here with Pintar on. And here's the breaking ball right on the inside corner, and it's 1-2. You'll see oftentimes the shortstop and second baseman play similar to double play depth when there's runners on the corners, or runners on at first and second. That way they can get to the bag in time. That one's going to be fouled away by Higginson. And it's 1-2 the count. Salem Hills, the Skyhawks. It looks like a couple of Skyhawks players have gotten here to Spanish Fork here to maybe check out their Sentinel, their opponent next week. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's fouled away by Higginson. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to count on Jackson Higginson, the 9-hole hitter for Spanish Fork. Then it would continue to be Brady Brook. Maple Mountain will play the infield back here. 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Seavey working here from the stretch, kicks and delivers a breaking ball. Swung on and missed by Higginson, strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Jeff Seavey. And the Dons strand a couple. They do get their first hit of the ball game. But we've played an inning and a half and no score. The Golden Eagles will be coming up looking to try to see if they can get the first lead of the ball game here, as both teams playing pretty quick in between innings. Let's go ahead and let's thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible this evening. We want to thank Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, 2 Jacks Pizza, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, MVP Sports, and the Car Guys. We thank them for making this broadcast and our many other broadcasts possible throughout the high school sports season, as Brock Beckstrom will head back out for his second inning of work as he sent Maple Mountain down in order 1, 2, 3 into the top and the bottom of the first inning. It's kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit, playing a Maple Mountain home game against Spanish Fork on Spanish Fork's home field. So please bear with me as we go throughout, as it will be Colin Reed, the left fielder, will stand in to lead off the bottom of the second inning for Maple Mountain. Golden Eagles really needing a win here to get a split heading into their second weekend of play. And the first pitch in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Colin Reed. Brock Beckstrom has not been an easy guy to work against this year in the batter's box. Breaking ball's hit right back off the glove of Beckstrom. He'll recollect it, throws to first in time, and there's 1 away here in the second inning. So 1 gone, and here comes number 24, Caleb Peterson.
Now batting number 24, Caleb Peterson.
Peterson getting the start for Maple Mountain tonight at first base, as he'll stand in here. Peterson came in late in the ball game. That was a called strike on Saturday against the Payson Lions in that 8-run 5th inning for Maple Mountain. Came in to run over at first base and came around to score in that 5th inning. Maple Mountain used a couple of walks, a couple of timely hits to really break that game open against Payson. The 1-1 pitch in there for a called strike, and it's 1-2. Peterson over the course of the weekend, 0 for 3 against Desert Hills in their semifinal loss. The 1-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. And there's 2 outs. The second strikeout for Brock Beckstrom. And with 2 gone in the inning, it's going to bring up Mikey Peterson, number 20.
Now batting number 20, Mikey Peterson.
Peterson catching for Maple Mountain. We've seen him in a couple of different spots, but majority of the time catching for head coach Gary Miner and the Golden Eagles. And the first pitch, fastball misses away. It's 1 ball and no strikes. You want to try to stay out of, the goal, of course, is to be in the number 1 or 2 spots. And I think Maple Mountain just hit out of order as Justin Hartman moves to the batter's box. Mikey Peterson steps out, and I think now head coach Casey Nelson comes out of the dugout, as I think they batted out of order. That's the end of the inning. That would be the 3rd out. As we saw this against Pleasant Grove, head coach Casey Nelson came out of the dugout and actually caught the Vikings on Saturday hitting out of order. A little bit different situation as the wrong number was put on the lineup card. Kind of an administrative issue there, and Mikey Peterson went straight up to the batter's box, took a pitch, and then Justin Hartman started walking up, and they're going to have Hartman's going to come in, and is going to come into the batter's box, so apparently it's going to be Justin Hartman.
Now batting number 9, Justin Hartman.
So Hartman is going to come up to the plate. Peterson, I'm assuming, will hit next as he moves to the on-deck circle. Hartman, I believe, will inherit now an 1-0 count. And now I think there's some more conversation as head coach Casey Nelson's gone out to first base. And from all my understanding in baseball is if you bat out of order, the guy's out. The only question that I don't know is, because unlike the game on Saturday against Pleasant Grove, it wasn't caught until the at-bat was over. I'm not sure in this case. Mikey Peterson seems kind of convinced that the inning's going to be over. He's starting to get his shin guards on. The only thing that I'm not sure of is since at the time Maple Mountain corrected it with a 1-0 count, I'm not necessarily sure if he's going to be necessarily called out in this case since he didn't conclude the at-bat. I could be wrong, and it looks like he's going to be called out, and the inning is over for Maple Mountain. So we've played 2 complete here from Nelson Field. It's no score, Maple Mountain, Spanish Fork. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Well, I don't know the number off the top of my head as we head to the top of the 3rd inning, but I have not, in announcing baseball as a public address announcer and a TV announcer, have seen back-to-back ball games, well, or close enough where we've had a team bat out of order. As head coach Gary Miner, you see him there. I think he's talking for an explanation from our umpires now as to what went on. I've never seen it happen in both ball games where you've seen teams that have hit out of order, and some, of course, are a stretch. Head coach Gary Miner will start to head back over. I don't think he's overly happy with the explanation as we'll head to the top of the 3rd inning. Top of the lineup coming up for Spanish Fork, no score as Gary Miner and the Golden Eagles. And it's like that's really one of the big things in baseball, especially when you get to the high school level. You'll see it a little bit in youth baseball growing up. Guys getting used to when they're what spot they hit in the lineup. And high school baseball, though, especially high school varsity baseball, you kind of expect guys to know what spot they're hitting, who's hitting before them, and who's hitting after them. And Maple Mountain right there kind of, I don't know if there was some confusion as to who was hitting where or what happened, but nonetheless, that was the 3rd out of the bottom of the 2nd inning. Here's Brady Brook to lead off the top of the 3rd, and the first pitch on its way, a fastball that misses away, ball 1 ball and no strikes. Brady Brook 0 for 1 this evening, a ground out to first baseman Caleb Peterson in his first at-bat. Seavey, the left-hander, will kick and deliver the 1-0 pitch. That one a fastball that misses off the plate, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Maple Mountain will play the infield back here with the left-hand hitting Brady Brook in the batter's box. The 2-0 pitch on its way, and Brook takes that one on the inside corner. It's 2-1 the count here on Brady Brook. Brady Brook, Tanner Argyle, Cy Nielsen coming up here for Spanish Fork. The 2-1 pitch, the wind and the delivery, breaking ball, misses away. The count will move to 3-1 here on Brady Brook. Brook ready to go here from the left side, and the 3-1 pitch. That one's going to be swung out, hit into the air. Tito Denniston on the infield will call everybody off. Reaches up, kind of to make some last-second adjustments with the sun. Reaches up, though, and makes the catch for the first out of the 3rd inning on the pop-out. So 1 gone. Here's Tanner Argyle. Argyle reached on an error in his first at-bat, a ground ball that was just hit right at Tito Dennison. And I don't know if Dennison, if it took a bad hop or just Dennis didn't get the glove down in time, but reached on the fielding error, and Argyle would get retired later on in the inning on the base paths. Argyle chops this one over to third. It's fielded by Jake Roberts. He'll fire across the infield in time, and there's 2 away. So Jeff Seavey doing kind of what we saw him do over the weekend, be very economical with his pitch count, has pitched well to contact, and he's gotten balls hit right at people for outs. And with 2 gone, here's Cy Nielsen. Nielsen reached on the fielder's choice as he had a ground ball, I believe, right to Caleb Peterson, who got the out at second on back in the first. He shows bunt and then pulls it back and takes it for a ball. It's 1-0. Top of the third inning, Maple Mountain, the visiting team here, the home team. Spanish Fork, the visiting team in this second ball game of 2 today. That one's popped up and giving it a look. It's going to come into the stands, it looks like, and hit right in about the third row. I'm not sure exactly. I think it might have almost hit somebody in the head. If it didn't hit somebody in the head, somebody about the fourth row kind of holding their head a little bit. That ball came down. I thought it hit in between a bleacher, but maybe it grazed someone's head as it went by. Nonetheless, it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Cy Nielsen. Breaking ball, low and inside ball 2. It's 2-1 on Cy. Dawson Hall in left center field, playing more towards that left center field gap. A big spot out in right center field. Nielsen swings, hits this one well. Left center field, Dawson Hall trying to get back. So is Colin Reed, and it's going to be down for a base hit. Getting it a second. The relay throw is going to come into third, and it's not going to be in time as Cy Nielsen slides in safely in there. And Cy Nielsen's on third with a triple. That one was hit well to deep left center field. And now an RBI opportunity for Spanish Fork to try to take a 1-0 lead here in the third inning, as that ball was just teed off onto one of the deeper parts of the ballpark here at Nelson Field. As you can kind of see the baseball right now in the background, letting you know that it's 345 to right field. So it just kind of goes out deeper towards the right center field, left center field gap, as the first pitch to Briggs Newman gets in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Running over at third base, Cy Nielsen. From the stretch, Seavey comes in, breaking ball right on the outside corner. It's quickly 0-2 on Briggs Newman. Spanish Fork over the weekend did a really great job in 2-out hitting for the Dons. We'll see if they can come through here. That one's chopped foul back to the screen. And it's 0-2 the count here on Briggs Newman. Out of the infield, will kind of play. Here's the 0-2 pitch, swung on. That one's in the dirt, swung on and missed. Mikey Peterson throws high to first base by getting his foot down. Was Caleb Peterson in time, and the top of the third inning comes to an end on what's the 4th strikeout for Jeff Seavey on the afternoon. But the one hit for the Dons, they strand them. The Dons have left 4 base runners on base through 3 innings. We head to the bottom of the third inning. The Golden Eagles are coming up. And now I'm interested to see here, as we'll take a moment here to thank our sponsors on Spanish Fork 17. We want to thank the Car Guys, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, and Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law. We thank them for making this broadcast or many other broadcasts possible. I'm interested to see here in the bottom of the third inning, because from what I've heard at times with the rule, when you bat out of order, somebody has to skip their turn. But I don't see that happening. Justin Hartman's going to head to the batter's box here for Maple Mountain. So it's scheduled to be, according to the lineup, Justin Hartman, Mikey Peterson, and then the 8 and 9 hole hitters. And we'll see what happens as Justin Hartman will stand in and to lead it off here for Maple Mountain. So it looks like it's going to be Hartman, Mikey Peterson, and the 8-hole hitter, it looks to be Carter Shaw, who has the bat, number 25.
Number 9, Justin Hartman.
So Hartman will stand in and lead it off. Beckstrom ready to go, and the pitch on its way. It's going to be swung on first pitch, hit into left field. Higginson coming in, but it's going to fall for a base hit. And Justin Hartman has himself a leadoff single here for Maple Mountain in the bottom of the third inning in the home half. And that's the first Golden Eagle hit of the evening. And now runner on, here's Mikey Peterson.
Now batting.
Peterson came to the plate in the bottom of the second inning. For just joining us, Peterson walked to the plate, took a ball, and then went back to the dugout. Justin Hartman came to the plate, and Maple Mountain had hit out of order, so it ended the inning on the third out. They throw over to first, and Hartman back diving in. Beckstrom from the stretch. Hartman takes off, bunt laid down, back to Beckstrom. He'll look at second, throws to first in time for the first out of the inning. And Maple Mountain fans thinking that right there that the foot came off the bag, and Gary Miner will come out and plead his case with the umpire, but out there on the base pass, and immediately the umpire, they appeal back to the home plate umpire, who calls him out as well. So a sacrifice laid down by Mikey Peterson moves the runner, the tying run of the ball, the leading run, as we're no score here in the bottom of the third inning. Puts the leading run now in scoring position for Carter Shaw. So Shaw stands in a slightly open stance with that foot pulled towards left center field. And Shaw chases the first pitch out of the zone for a swinging strike, and it's 0-1 on Carter Shaw. Justin Hartman running on second base for Maple Mountain. Bottom of the third inning, no score here from Nelson Field in Spanish Fork. Game 2 of this doubleheader, the pitch right in there for the knees for a called strike, and it's 0-2 on Justin Hartman. Maple Mountain looking to try to see if they can even the score, as the Dons took game 1. It was a 3:30 first pitch. The Dons took game 1 of 2. Breaking ball, Shaw hits this one into right field. Bradford has a beat on it. He'll make the catch, and a very nice throw into third. Cut off, it looks like, by Tanner Argyle, and the runner will hold at second base. So now here comes Jake Roberts. Roberts needing now a base hit to try to get that run home,
Now batting number 18,
as Roberts hitting in that ninth spot for the Golden Eagles. Maple Mountain looking for their first lead of the ball game, as Brock Beckstrom has been very tough so far, the first time through the lineup on the Golden Eagles. Pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt, and the count moves to 1-0 on Jake Roberts. Roberts has generally been hitting in a leadoff spot up until this ball game for Maple Mountain. The Golden Eagles try to jumpstart their offense here in this one, the 1-0, and Beckstrom will kind of turn and look the runner back to second. Justin Hartman running at second base gets his lead. The 1-0 pitch comes inside and tight. That one gets in there for a called strike. It evens up here at 1-1. Higginson, Brady Brook now in center, moves a couple of steps. Higginson playing a step or two in left field. But Jackson Higginson has the speed. He can probably get away with that. That one swung on and missed. Runner goes. Now he's caught in a rundown. With a 1-2 pitch, and now sprinting for the third base bag. Hartman will now turn and go back to second. Here's Beckstrom trying to chase him down, and he applies the tag, and the inning is over. So Hartman cuts in the rundown, ends the inning, and we've played 3 here from Nelson Field. No score, Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain. You're watching high school baseball in Spanish Fork 17.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste. and our world-famous cheese sticks. Come to 2 Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Top of the 4th inning, getting ready to get underway here at Nelson Field in Spanish Fork between Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork. The Dons and the Golden Eagles getting together for Game 2 of this regular season 2-game series. That concludes this year with the start of Region 8 play. It's the first time these two teams will play in a game that matters for qualification for the state tournament, as Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork both trying to get there after season-ending losses to Region 8 rival the Salem Hill Skyhawks, who are in attendance here this afternoon. They will get the Spanish Fork Dons next week. So here's Brendan Bradford. It'll be Bradford, Cowden, and Tay Newman coming up, and Bradford takes the first pitch high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Bradford a strikeout victim in his first at-bat back in the 2nd inning. Seavey ready to go. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and there's a breaking ball. It just sits right off the plate. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Jake Roberts playing even with the cut of the grass at third base. Bradford, I don't know if he would necessarily try to lay a bunt down, but Jake Roberts isn't taking much of a chance with that. There's a ground ball to second. Tito Dennison's up with it. He'll throw to first in time. And the first out of the 4th inning is recorded. So both pitchers, this has been a pitcher's duel. Both have been really tough so far to try to get something going. And here's Josh Cowden. Cowden 0 for 1, lined out to the shortstop Tyson Ellis in his first at-bat. Hit not really a hard hit ball, but just hit a line drive, and Tyson Ellis kind of just a soft jump into the air is able to make the catch as the breaking ball misses for ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes on Josh Cowden. Top of the 4th inning, no score between Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork. Breaking ball is going to be popped up. Ellis going out, coming in. Dawson Hall kind of having to turn and twist and can't make the plays. Tyson Ellis. So a single there for Josh Cowden that just kind of found the right spot on the field there, right in between the 2 defenders. And Spanish Fork has a 1-out single for Tay Newman. Newman in his first at-bat had a single that at the time was the first base hit for the Spanish Fork Dons. So Newman will come in. We'll see generally, we see a speed-up runner, and we will over at first base. It's number 13. That's Carson Chappell, who will come in to run for Spanish Fork. Chappell's been very successful running on the base pass. Scored a few runs in that tournament down in St. George. The first pitch in there for a called strike. Got a couple of at-bats for Spanish Fork. So Chappell for Cowden over at first base, just for running purposes, the speed-up runner that I use in high school baseball. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball stays high, and the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. The sun's starting to set. The outfield there and deep right center and deep left, and kind of the deep right field and center field starting to be covered in shadows. The 1-1 pitch, and Newman grounds this one to second. Dennison slips, loose baseball, and everybody's going to be safe. Dennison kind of tried to make a sliding stop for it, and it was going to be a tough play to get Newman at first base, and everybody's safe, and Spanish Fork starting to threaten here in the 4th inning. Here's Andrew Pintar. Pintar walked in his first at-bat, as Spanish Fork in that 2nd inning found a way to get a couple of runners on base, and then just couldn't quite get the runners to go. Just couldn't get that big clutch hit that they needed to get the runners home. Stevie will turn, look everybody back to the bag. As 57 degrees is what I'm showing here. Sun not setting to almost 10 minutes to 8 tonight, so we should have a good daylight for most of this ball game. Fastball's going to be hit right back. Stevie's going to go to Tyson Ellis for 1. The relay turn to first is in time for the 1-6-3 inning-ending double play. So Jeff Seavey gets out of it, kind of helps his own cause with the glove. As Spanish Fork, once again, they strand one on the base pass, the 4th straight inning. Spanish Forks had base runners the entire ball game,
In the top of the 4th inning.
and the Dons just haven't been able to find a way to get them across, and they haven't been able to come through with that big hit, and that's a big credit right now to Jeff Seavey, who has just kept those hitters in big positions and have kept the runs off the scoreboard. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Forks 17. Let's thank our fine sponsors who help out making each broadcast possible. We want to thank Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Chris Jansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, MVP Sports, Two Jacks Pizza, The Car Guys, and Dickerson Automotive. We thank everybody for making these broadcasts each and every week here on Spanish Forks 17 possible, as we're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning, as Maple Mountain will send up 9-1-2 Jake Roberts, Tito Dennison, and Dawson Hall for the Golden Eagles. Roberts will stand in right here. His first at-bat of the ball game, he was at the plate, and Justin Hartman got caught in a rundown between 2nd and 3rd base. And right now a pitcher's duel between Brock Beckstrom and the left-hander, Jeff Seavey. And the first pitch gets in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike to count here on Jake Roberts. That one's going to be rolled foul over toward the Maple Mountain dugout, and it's 0-2 on Jake Roberts. Brock Beckstrom has been in control so far in this one. Beckstrom will take his stand on the mound and get ready to go here with the 0-2 pitch. The wind and the delivery on its way. Swung out and missed. It's going to skip away from Cowden, but he'll make the throw down to first to complete the strikeout. And that is Beckstrom's 3rd strikeout of the ball game. And with 1 gone, here's Tito Dennison.
Now batting number 2, Tito Dennison.
Dennison 0 for 1, struck out or grounded out back in the 1st inning to Andrew Pintar to start the bottom of the 1st for Maple Mountain in their first plate appearances of the ball game. And he rolls this one foul over towards his 3rd base coach, and that'll be no balls and a strike. Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork was supposed to play game 2 of this 2-game regular season series tomorrow over at Maple Mountain, but with the weather tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon is supposed to kind of shift. Count evens up at 1-1. They're supposed to start bringing some rain. Weren't going to be able to play. Yesterday's game moved to today because of poor field conditions. The 1-1 pitch in there for a called strike. It's 1-2 on Dennison. But boy, that field tonight, you can kind of tell it looks to be in great shape. At least today. The 1-2 pitch on its way. Swung out and missed. And Cowden applies the tag to complete the strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Brock Beckstrom. And now here's Dawson Hall. Hall, a strikeout victim in his first plate appearance. Went down as he'll stand in here. Hall's been kind of all over the place. Been in the 3 spot, the 2 spot, hitting this, I think the 7 spot, one of those games. Swinging first pitch back up the middle. Going to be a tough play for Pintar. The throw not going to be in time. That was going to be a base hit for Dawson Hall. And a 2-out single there, the first hit of the ball game for Dawson. And now it's going to continue the inning. Here comes Tyson Ellis. A ball hit back up the middle. Wasn't exactly a hard hit ball. And Andrew Pintar had to go up almost behind second base. And Pintar would have had to make a major league type play. Some kind of like Derek Jeter like jump throw to first in order to have a shot. And the pickoff move, Hall dives back safely. We'll see if head coach Gary Miner is giving Dawson Hall the green light to go here. First pitch to Tyson Ellis, inside and tight for a ball, and the count moves to 1-0. Tyson Ellis flew out to Brendan Bradford in his first at-bat. As Ellis gets his lead Hall gets his lead at first, dives back, safely underneath the tag. Beckstrom a pretty quick pickoff move, so Dawson Hall will want to be somewhat careful over there at first base. Here's the 1-0 pitch as Ellis checks his swing, and they'll Looks like they're going to say they'll appeal the second, and he did go, says the base umpire. And the count evens up at 1-1. 2 umpires in high school baseball, 1 behind the plate, and generally 1 on the base pass. And sometimes when you get to the state tournament, if you play in a state championship game, you'll see a 3rd umpire added. Pickoff move again. Hall dives back safely. Beckstrom very concerned right now that Dawson Hall may try to take an extra 90 feet. In a pitcher's duel like this, taking that extra base can make a big difference. That pitch misses low, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. As oftentimes it's just the little things that bring the runs home. 2 balls and a strike. Beckstrom working here from the stretch. And the pitch on its way, swung out and missed, and the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Tyson Ellis. If the inning would continue past Tyson Ellis, it would be Colin Reed. Running over at first base. Dawson Hall not going there. That one misses low and away, ball 3, and the count runs full 3-2. So now, with a 3-2 count and 2 gone, I would imagine you're going to see Dawson Hall for sure take off with the pitch home here. Hall a pretty conservative lead at first right now. And Hall takes off as Ellis swings and misses, strike 3. So Beckstrom strikes out the side in the 4th. He's now got 5 strikeouts through 4 innings. We head to the 5th. No score. Maple Mountain, Spanish Fork. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Well, we head to the top of the 5th inning here at Nelson Field right now, and Maple Mountain's Jeff Seavey back to work as it's a pitcher's duel between Jeff Seavey and the right-hander Brock Beckstrom as they're both going well right now through 4 innings. Maple Mountain with only the 1 hit. Jeff Seavey a little bit different. He's given up about 4 or 5 hits, but both pitchers are coming up big when everything's on the line. As right now, the Region 8 opener yesterday and today, as Jackson Higginson stands in to lead it off. 9-1-2, Higginson, Brook, and Argyle, a very dangerous part of this Spanish Fork lineup. And the first pitch to Higginson, a bunt laid back down. Seavey turns, has to spin quickly. The throw, bang, bang play, and they got him at first base for the first out of the inning. A bang, bang play. It was going to have to be a good throw by Jeff Seavey. As Seavey came falling off, you might have seen it at home, he came falling off the left field side, really giving a lot of open space to Jackson Higginson. And had Higginson positioned the bunt a little bit further in between the first and second baseman, he would have been on. First pitch misses low for a ball. It's 1-0 to Brady Brook. Luckily, Jeff Seavey able to quickly respond well, be able to backhand it, and make the quick throw to first. 1-0 count on Brady Brook, who's 0 for 2. A strikeout and a ground out this evening, and that one's right on the corner, and the count evens up here at 1-1. Ready to go. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way. Breaking ball's going to be fouled away by Brady Brook. I don't think the Brady Brook knew at first necessarily where that baseball was, but they quickly was able to find it there. Let's see here if we have the only other game here in Region 8 play that we have today anyway. That one misses low and away for ball 2. Uinta, they were at Payson today. It's the only other game that we have here. A lot of teams playing doubleheaders today. Provo and Mountain View played a doubleheader today. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball right on the outside corner. Count goes full, 3-2. Salem Hills, I believe, played today. They're all here in uniform, and so I would imagine that the Skyhawks played their opponent today as well, but they might have maybe gotten yesterday's ball game in somehow. The 3-2 pitch to Brady Brook on its way, and that one's going to be grounded right towards first. Falling, slipping and falling. CV dives, bang, bang play. They got him again. Caleb Peterson fielded it, kind of fell over towards first base. CV quickly covers the bag and slides into the first base bag just ahead of Brady Brook. And there's 2 away. I don't think Spanish Fork, it was a very close play. I don't think the Dons faithful really liking that big play. It was a very close bang, bang play. In fact, with the slide, I don't know if you really necessarily would have figured out who had the bag first. The pitch to Argyle is going to be popped up. This is playable on the infield. Dennison coming in, the second baseman will make the catch, and another very economical inning for Jeff Seavey. The Dons go down 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th inning, and we still have no score here from Nelson Field between Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain as we head into the late innings here on Spanish Fork 17. The middle part, 4, 5, and 6 coming up for the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors on Spanish Fork 17. We want to thank the Car Guys, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, Mikael Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, 2 Jacks Pizza, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for making these broadcasts possible each and every week, as it just seems like the high school sports seasons go by quicker and quicker. And for the latest information on our live show, our shows, live broadcasts, and much more, we invite you to follow our pages on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And just look for Spanish Fork 17 as you look through those pages. And a day like yesterday or a day like today when all of a sudden the schedule gets changed and we have live baseball for you, the social media page is a great place to find out about those schedules. This game, of course, supposed to be played tomorrow, which was supposed to be a 3:30 pitch over at Maple Mountain. But getting a little early baseball in here tonight, as it's Colin Reed, Caleb Peterson, Justin Hartman for Maple Mountain. And the first pitch on its way, Colin Reed swings through it. It's no balls and a strike. Reed 0 for 1, grounded out back to the pitcher Brock Beckstrom, and his only plate appearance of the evening. The 0-1 pitch is fouled away at the plate, and it's quickly 0-2. A pitcher's duel here. The first game, a 3-1 win for Spanish Fork, kind of came down to a pitcher's duel as well. And here's the 0-2 pitch, the kick and the delivery on its way. Fastball misses high. It's 1-2 the count here on Colin Reed. Reed looking to try to get something started for Maple Mountain here. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's a called strike 3, and Beckstrom starting to put it on cruise control. Strikeout number 6 for Beckstrom, and here comes Caleb Peterson. The last 4 outs have been recorded via strikeout from Brock Beckstrom, and no sign that Beckstrom's getting tired. No action in the Spanish Fork bullpen, as an 0 for 1 Caleb Peterson, who went down swinging in his first at-bat, stands in. That one's going to be rolled foul, and it's 0-1. In fact, they're going to say, it looks like they're going to say hit him, and he's going to take first base. It looked like he must have checked his swing and not fully went around. And so Peterson reaches here on the hit by pitch. Here's Justin Hartman, who's 1 for 1 with a single. Hartman
Now batting.
standing in now, and we'll see Caleb Peterson on the base paths. Brock Beckstrom will go back to the stretch. He hasn't really been in the stretch a ton in the ball game, and they'll throw over to get Peterson back. We'll see how Maple Mountain decides to play this here with 1 out. If there's nobody out, I would say you'd probably see Hartman lay down a bunt, but don't know if that will happen with the 1 out, and Hartman swings through the breaking ball, and it's no balls and a strike on Justin Hartman. ready to work here from the stretch. Beckstrom takes a look over at first. The 0-1 pitch blocked in the dirt. A good stop behind home plate by Josh Cowden. And the count evens up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Be Justin Hartman, then Mikey Peterson coming up here. Well, Hartman's at the plate now. Peterson in the on-deck circle. From the stretch, Beckstrom comes in. That one swung out and missed by Hartman. And it's going to make the count now 0-2 on Justin Hartman. Double play depth up the middle with Andrew Pintar and Tanner Argyle. Tate Newman playing back behind the third base bag at third. Here's the 0-2 pitch on its way. That one's a sharply hit ball. Argyle tries to backhand it, can't come up with it. And Maple Mountain now with runners on at first and second with 1 away. The second base hit for Justin Hartman. And now Mikey Peterson, who will come to the plate, and we'll have a runner out there as Hansley, it looks like Pay will come in to run at second base. So Pay will run on the base pass for Peterson. So they'll get the speed up runner, and that could be huge. That extra 90 feet could come down here in the ball game to be big. So Pay to run at second base here with 1 away. It's Pay at second, Hartman at first for Maple Mountain, and Mikey Peterson, the catcher, standing in. Peterson had a sacrifice in his first plate appearance. Now he'll stand in. That one blocked in the dirt, and Pay quickly takes a look, but he'll hold as runners on at first and second here. 1 gone. Bottom of the 5th inning, no score. Both teams trying to see here if they can get that first run of the ball game across the board. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way. Peterson swings through it, and the count moves to 1-1. One ball and 1 strike, ready to go. Beckstrom working here from the stretch, takes a long look in, and the 1-1 pitch will be swung out and missed by Mikey Peterson, and the count evens up here at 1 ball, or moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Maple Mountain catcher. Carter Shaw in the on-deck circle, and then it'd be Jake Roberts for the Golden Eagles, and then back to the top of the lineup. But Brock Beckstrom has been not quite untouchable, but has pitched well so far. Breaking ball, Peterson fouls this one away, and it's 1-2 the count. So it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Judy, your young child is looking for you.
So it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes the count, working from the stretch. The pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Mikey Peterson. Pay running on at second base. Over at first base is Hartman. Ready to go. Here's the pitch. Blocked in the dirt by Cowden, ball 3. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes now on Mikey Peterson. Maple Mountain threatening for the first time here in this ball game, as you see Hansley Pay running on at second base. Beckstrom with the glove on one hip, ball on the other. The 3-2 pitch on its way. Checked his swing. They'll appeal. And no, we did not. And the bases are loaded for Maple Mountain in the 5th. So Beckstrom not getting out of control here in the 5th inning. Has pitched really well. Just kind of misses here and there, as we'll see Peyton Pond come in and run over at first base. So Maple Mountain bringing out all the forces right now to get that extra 90 feet and find a way to see if they can push the first run across. Here's Carter Shaw, who's 0 for 1. Flew out to Brendan Bradford in his first at-bat, the Spanish Fork right fielder. First pitch on its way, and that one misses low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Have to kind of wonder here if maybe we'll start seeing some action going down in the Spanish Fork bullpen don't see anything as of now. Base is full here for the Golden Eagles. The pitch blocked in the dirt. A good job by Josh Cowden to keep it kind of right around that home plate area. If the ball squirts past Cowden, Hensley Paya has a shot to score from third, as I'm sure would be sprinting home. It's Paya over at third. At second, it's Justin Hartman. And over at first, it's Peyton Pond running speed up for Maple Mountain. The 2-0 pitch misses low, ball 3, and now Josh Cowden wants to go out and have a quick word with his pitcher. You have to think here, the approach that Carter Shaw has to have is make him throw me a strike. He's a ball away right now from bringing in the first run of the ball game. Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork, no score, bottom of the 5th inning. The 3-0 pitch in there for a called strike. It's 3-1. Maple Mountain, the home team here on Spanish Fork's home field. Interesting change, but nonetheless a beautiful ballpark here. That one's going to be chopped high. Beckstrom's going to come home, gets the out there. Cowden the throw to first. In time for the 1-2-3 double play, and that ends the 5th inning. So both teams having great pitching and great defense. We have no score at the end of 5. Spanish Fork, Maple Mountain. We head to the 6th here on Spanish Fork 17.
Best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
We head to the top of the 6th inning right now. Great defense being played right now by both teams. And it's just been one of those ball games where they've been at right now where both teams looking to try to get that first run. It hasn't been easy. Jeff Seavey, number 7 for Maple Mountain, has pitched very well, and his counterpart Brock Beckstrom has as well. They've both pitched themselves out of some jams as well. So top of the 6th inning, it's going to be Cy Nielsen. Middle part of the lineup with Nielsen, Briggs Newman, and Brendan Bradford coming up for Maple Mountain, or for Spanish Fork. And the first pitch on its way home, breaking ball that misses away for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Cy Nielsen. Nielsen 1 for 2, hit into a fielder's choice and had a triple back in the 3rd. Fastball misses away, ball 2. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Nielsen was running over at third base and then got stranded. That ended the inning. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Seavey kicks and delivers. Nielsen hits this one well out to left field. Going over, leaping into the air, and the ball's going to get past the leaping left fielder, Colin Reed, and all the way to the wall. Dawson Hall quickly gets it in to hold Cy Nielsen to a double, and Spanish Fork has the leading run now in scoring position with nobody out. And we'll see here what head coach Casey Nelson decides, if whether or not we might see maybe a speed-up runner come into second base for Cy Nielsen. Nobody yet has popped off the bench, and now I believe we're going to have head coach Casey Nelson look to potentially make a change. He'll have a conversation here with Briggs Newman, as the left-hander Jeff Seavey's pitched well, but now an opportunity for Spanish Fork as we'll see a right-hander begin to throw in the Maple Mountain bullpen down the left field line. And we'll see if Briggs Newman, I would imagine here with the conversation head coach Casey Nelson may have been having is maybe lay a bunt down and try to move that runner over. So right now working here will be Seavey from the stretch on the pretty kind of even down on the pitcher's mound here. Playing in at third base Be Jake Roberts right on the kind of the cut of the grass. The pitch on its way. Newman not showing bunt there. Is that one taken away from ball one? 1 ball and no strikes. An early season sweep for the Dons would really kind of open up Region 8 play, maybe take a little bit of pressure off. You want to try to finish the top 2 spots to try to get home games. Newman there through the right side for a base hit. That should give Spanish Fork a 1-0 lead. Coming in to score from third and heading into second and being thrown out, trying to get that extra 90 feet is Briggs Newman. But the RBI single brings home the game's first run as Cy Nielsen scores, and it's 1-0 in favor of Spanish Fork. And here comes not Brendan Bradford. It looks to be number 9, and that's going to be Caden Berry, who's grabbed a bat. He will, looks like, hit here for Brendan Bradford. So it will be Berry for Bradford here in the 6th inning. With 1 away, head coach Casey Nelson makes the change as Brendan Bradford still trying to get in the groove here. Had some good at-bats over the weekend, and good at-bats as in worked the count well, gotten some favorable positions, but you got to credit the pitchers he faced. They found a way to get the correct pitches at the right time to get some strikeouts against Bradford. So Caden Berry will stand in number 9, and CV comes in first pitch breaking ball that stays high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. The sun's starting to set here. The outfield now 3 forced away, covered with shadows as the lights begin to come on here at Nelson Field, and the 1-0 pitch evens the count up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. CV ready to go. Here's the 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes the count here on Caden Berry. Berry hitting for Brendan Bradford. CV working here with the 1-2 on its way, and that one rolled right back to CV. He'll field it, have to make a quick throw, bobbles the baseball, the throw down the line gets past the first baseman, Caleb Peterson, and Caden Berry will have to hold it first, but I think Berry had a base hit no matter what. I think it would have been a tough play, especially when the pitcher, Jeff Seavey, kind of bobbled the baseball as he went to throw down the first baseline. Caden Berry, who doesn't run, with plus speed, not the speed of, say, a Jackson Higginson or Brady Brook, but just enough speed to be able to win the foot race there down the line. And here's Josh Cowden with 1 away. Cowden 1 for 2, has lined out to short and had a single back in the 4th. CV now will work from the stretch. Takes a look over at first. Berry kind of bouncing around, and the first pitch on its way fouled back to the screen. And it's an 0-1 count on Josh Cowden. Got a 2 for 2 Tay Newman in the on-deck circle for Spanish Fork. The Dons already with 1 in here in the 6th, looking to try to see if they can add to that lead and give Brock Beckstrom his first run support of the ballgame. CV pitch throws that one, popped up on the infield. Coming over is going to be the shortstop Tyson Ellis. He'll make the play. And that's the second out of the inning. A big second out there for Jeff Seavey. And now you have to deal with 2 gone for the 2 for 2 Tay Newman. Newman, a pair of singles, one coming back in the 2nd, the other one coming back in the 4th. We'll stand in here from the from the right side of the plate. Maple Mountain looking for that big third out of the inning. Breaking ball, and that one in there for a called strike right on the outside corner. It's 0-1. This pitcher's duel has been a game where both pitchers have hit their spots at the right time. They both came away with big outs when they've needed to. No balls and a strike here, ready to go. CV will kick and throw over to first, and Caden Berry was caught, but the ball kind of skips away down the line and out of play, and so moving up, it looks like, to second base is going to be, moving up there 90 feet, will be Berry. So CV threw over, and nobody there with the quick snap throw to back up the, and it doesn't take much down that line for the ball to get out of play. The pitch in there for a called strike, and it's quickly 0-2 the count here on Tay Newman. Caden Berry now in scoring position. A base hit could bring in Berry. That would extend the Spanish Fork lead out to 2-0. Seavey comes in and Newman pops it up. It's going to be playable over towards first for Caleb Peterson, who will make the catch, and the top of the inning is over. However, Spanish Fork comes away with a big first run of the ball game. It was an RBI single by Briggs Newman, and Spanish Fork leads 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Dons looking to try to sweep both ends of the doubleheader today. And now some work to do for Maple Mountain with the 9, 1, and 2 hole hitters, Jake Roberts, Tito Dennison, and Dawson Hall coming up for Maple Mountain. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast this evening possible. We want to thank the Car Guys, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law. We thank them for making this broadcast possible as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. And it's going to be Jake Roberts, Tito Dennison, Dawson Hall coming up against Brock Beckstrom, who really tonight has just put it on cruise control for Spanish Fork. Has pitched really well, kept a lot of these Maple Mountain hitters off balance as Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline plays here in between innings. You can tell that players knew that song as we saw a glimpse into the dugout there for Spanish Fork. First pitch misses low, ball 1 to Jake Roberts. Roberts went down on his strikes in his first at-bat and only at-bat in the 4th. That one misses away, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Maple Mountain has not had a lot of innings tonight where they've sent more than 3 guys to the plate. You had the 1 inning where they only sent 2 to the plate. That one in there for a called strike. And it's 2-1. They had the batting out of order issue back in the 3rd inning that actually ended that threat. Here's the 2-1 pitch on its way home from Beckstrom. That one misses low, and the count moves to 3-1 on Jake Roberts. So Maple Mountain would love to get a leadoff man on here and try to see if they can get a run back. The right-hander, Beckstrom, kicks and delivers the 3-1. Is going to miss ball 4, and Jake Roberts has a leadoff walk for Maple Mountain. Puts the tying run on the base paths as you head back to the top of the lineup with Tito Dennison. We'll see here what Maple Mountain decides to do as well. A visit out to the mound, it looks like by the pitching coach. You see head coach Casey Nelson right there. Not really pacing, but you can kind of tell some thoughts going through his mind right now as they get into the 6th inning. A chance to go check out the right-hander Brock Beckstrom. Make sure he's okay. Gary Miner and company having a conversation on their side right now as to how to approach these upcoming at-bats here. As Brock Beckstrom has gone deep into this ball game, and it will still be Beckstrom, but it looks like a right-hander beginning to throw. Would not surprise me one bit if that's Brendan Bradford down in the bullpen.
Now batting number 2, Tito
It's not going to be Bradford in the bullpen. It looks to be number 21, Tyler Sorensen. Saw Sorensen over the weekend for the Dons. And the first pitch in there for a called strike to Tito Dennison. Dennison in the leadoff spot, 0 for 2, a ground out to second, a strikeout in his last at-bat back in the 4th. Running over at first base is Jake Roberts. The bunt laid down by Dennison right back to the pitcher. Their play is first. They'll get the out. And so the first out of the inning recorded on the sacrifice. And now Jake Roberts moves up into scoring position for Dawson Hall. So Hall is 1 for 2, had a strikeout in the 1st and a single back in the 4th inning. Maple Mountain would take that single here for sure. That potentially would get the first run of the ball game home for the Golden Eagles. 1-0 lead for Spanish Fork. Bunt laid down. Hall will foul that one away. Dawson Hall able to use his speed as a weapon, is trying to get Hall on that bunt. You have to field the ball clean. You have to make a good throw down to first. No balls and a strike. Tay Newman playing in. You can see him there kind of on the cut of the grass there at third. The 0-1 pitch. About to come home, and that one swung out and missed, and it's 0-2 on Dawson Hall. Hall's single in his last at bat came on just a ground ball that Brock Beckstrom couldn't nab it on the hill, and it rolled back behind second base, and Andrew Pintar made a great play to get up to it quickly, but just couldn't quite make the throw to first in time. As now Beckstrom will spin and look the runner back to second base. Here at Nelson Field, you can see the mountains in the background, the sun setting right now as Hall swings and pops this one up. Playable though, and it's going to be Tate Newman just on the step and almost lost it looking up. He'll recover to make the catch for the second out of the inning, and there's 2 outs in the 6th, and here's Tyson Ellis. Ellis an 0 for 2 evening here, would love to come through with a big hit to try to get the run home. A 1-0 lead for Spanish Fork. The difference in the ball game was an RBI single from Briggs Newman that just found the right spot through the right side to bring home the game's first and only run. Pitch on its way, right on the outside corner. It's 0-1 the count here on Tyson Ellis. Ellis flew out to right, struck out in the 4th. Beckstrom working from the stretch, takes a long look in to Cowden behind the dish. The 0-1 on its way. That one's going to be rolled foul over towards a nice bare hand grab there. As you see, I believe that's Coach Spainauer over there with the nice just reach out and grab it with his hand. 0-2 the count. Spanish Fork 1 strike away from once again stranding another Golden Eagle on the base path. The 0-2 on its way, right, called, strike 3, and Spanish Fork will hold the lead as we head to the 7th and the last inning. Strikeout number 7 for Brock Beckstrom. It's Dons 1, Golden Eagles 0. We head to the 7th after the break here on Spanish Fork 17.
In the bottom of the 6th inning.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
We head to the 7th here on Spanish Fork 17, and right now you can see that sun beginning to set over the mountains over right field, and as the sun begins to set here on the second game of this Wednesday afternoon and evening doubleheader, as this one got underway today at about 3:30. Spanish Fork, the Dons taking game 1 today, and the Dons right now looking to be about 3 defensive outs away from a sweep, and they would love to add a run here in the 7th inning to give a little more insurance as second baseman Andrew Pintar leads it off. And the first pitch, a fastball, stays high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. It will be Andrew Pintar, Jackson Higginson, Brady Brook, 8, 9, and 1, coming up against the left-hander Jeff Seavey, who's gone the distance for the Golden Eagles. The 1-0 pitch. Off the plate, ball 2. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Infield will all play back for the Golden Eagles. The 2-0 pitch on its way. Pintar takes that one. A slow breaking ball in there for a called strike. And it's 2-1. Pintar walked in the second inning, grounded into a 1-6-3 double play in his last at bat. That one bounced towards second, coming on strong as Dennis, in his throw, pulled the first baseman off the bag. The throw from Dennison, Caleb Peterson had to come off the bag, and in this case came off a little too far, and Andrew Pintar's aboard on what I can only assume is going to be an error against Tito Dennison, and we'll see. It looks like a runner come in. Believe that's going to be number 10, Riley Hess, who will come in to run over at first base.
Left fielder number 1, Jackson Higginson.
So Spanish Fork taking advantage of the speed-up runner right now, as they put
Riley
Hess over at first base, as Jackson Higginson will come to the plate. Higginson, a strikeout victim back in the second, grounded back to the pitcher in the 5th. Hess with good speed will definitely put a little more pressure on Maple Mountain as you see third baseman Jake Roberts coming in pretty far right now, expecting Higginson with nobody out to probably square around and lay down a bunt right here. Higginson with good speed. You're going to have to make a good clean throw to get him. He'll square around. Roberts comes in very tight, and they'll throw over to first. When I say very tight, you can see it on your screen from home, I'm sure. He was only about maybe 3 steps off home plate, as Higginson will get ready to go again in the box. Roberts again right now maybe 15 steps as the bunt is shown, pulls it back, and Higginson takes that high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count on Jackson Higginson. Brady Brook in the top of the order to follow for Spanish Fork. The Dons here in a nice opportunity early on to try to see if they can add a run here on the board here on the top of the 7th. Seavey throws over to first, and Hess is back standing. The center fielder Dawson Hall playing rather shallow in center field. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Higginson set in the box. He'll square around a bunt. Bunt comes inside. Higginson squares and kind of spins back out of the way. It's 2-0. Lights beginning to take a little more effect here at Nelson Field. We probably have another maybe 25-30 minutes of daylight. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball, and Higginson lays it down the first baseline. Going to be a tough play. Seavey tries to flip it out of his glove over the head of Caleb Peterson. Hess will have to put the brakes on a third. Higginson into second. And now Spanish Fork an opportunity to get a couple of those runs here in the 7th inning as just a smart play in the sense from Seavey, as it would have been, I think Higginson beats it out even if he underhands it, but the only shot he had to get Jackson Higginson was to, with his glove, kind of try to flip it to Caleb Peterson. Now head coach Gary Miner will come out of the Maple Mountain dugout, probably prompting a change here as Seavey has done a great job right now through 6. Brady Brook will be at the plate with 2 men on and nobody out. And right now, if you're Maple Mountain, you got to dial in here and probably come up with a big strikeout in the 7th inning. You're looking for a strikeout. You're looking for maybe a ground ball hit right at somebody. But head coach Gary Miners made the decision he will stay with the left-hander, Jeff Seavey. You know, a fly ball to the outfield here will get Riley Hess home, or should at least have a very good shot at getting him home. Ground ball right at somebody, a strikeout, an infield pop-up, anything that doesn't result in a ball getting to the outfield, you'll take right now if you're Maple Mountain. First pitch is going to be fouled up right over us here, and snowballs and a strike on Brady Brook. Brook not having the best ball game for Spanish Fork, 0 for 3, a couple of ground outs to first baseman Caleb Peterson, a pop out to second. Just what you want right now if you're Maple Mountain. That one's popped up. Going to be shallow enough. Colin Reed coming in. Hess on the bag. He'll tag, and he'll put the brakes on quickly as a great strike thrown in from left field. Jake Roberts will cut it off, and there's 1 away. So just what you wanted if you're Maple Mountain. You get a fly ball to the outfield, but you get a shallow enough ball that Riley Hess would think about trying to tag up, but only took about 3 or 4 steps off the bag. Here's Tanner Argyle, who's 0 for 3, reached on an error, grounded out to third, popped out to second. First base is open for Maple Mountain, and so if you have to walk a guy, that one comes inside and tight for a ball, 1-0. It doesn't necessarily kill you if you're Maple Mountain. It would put an extra base runner on base, and you generally don't want to ever do that. But one thing it would do is it would put the runners on it would put the force out on and open the double play up. Breaking ball misses, low ball 2. It's 2-0 here on Tanner Argyle. On deck, though, you have to deal with a 2 for 3 Cy Nielsen. With 2 of those, both of his hits this evening have been extra base hits. A double and a triple for Nielsen, who waits on deck. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball stays high, ball 3, and it's 3-0 on Tanner Argyle. Maple Mountain had somebody warming up in the bullpen a little while ago. We'll see if We'll see if potentially we might see a change here if Argyle gets walked on 4 pitches. The 3-0 pitch is going to be swung out, popped up, swinging 3-0. Caleb Peterson will give it a look. He'll make the catch, have to make a quick turn and throw a pretty good ball home to Mikey Peterson, and a huge second out there as Tanner Argyle swings 3-0. That's a pretty good compliment right there to let you know that head coach Casey Nelson trusts Tanner Argyle to swing 3-0. Generally, you will see 3-0 as you don't swing, you see what happens with the pitch, and you generally will see the 3-0 take. Here's Cy Nielsen, who's 2 for 3. This would be a huge momentum shifter if you're Maple Mountain, if you can find a way. And now they're going to automatically, intentionally walk Cy Nielsen. They'll put him on to deal with Briggs Newman. High school baseball, you do not have to do the 4 pitches to the outside, kind of like the new Major League rule where you can just tell the guy, you just tell the umpire you want to put him on. And so base is full for Spanish Fork. 2 outs, and here's Briggs Newman. Newman has the only RBI of the ball game, a single back last inning in the 6th that brought home Cy Nielsen. And Briggs Newman will check his swing, and he holds up as that one stays high for ball 1, 1-0. 1-0 Spanish Fork, top of the 7th inning. The Dons, the visiting team here this evening. In game 2 of this doubleheader, the breaking ball misses away, ball 2, 2-0 the count. This is the equivalent of the home game that Maple Mountain would have had tomorrow afternoon. Nowhere to put Briggs Newman here. Infield back for the Golden Eagles, just looking for that final out. The 2-0 misses low, ball 3. It's now 3-0 on Briggs Newman. Riley Hess, the runner at third, Jackson Higginson at second, and Cy Nielsen over at first. So a base hit probably would score 2 here for the Dons. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Breaking ball in at the knees for a called strike, and it's 3-1 on Briggs Newman. He should see something good to hit here. Generally a 3-1 fastball count. We'll see if he has to come in with a fastball here. The pitch on its way misses low, ball 4, and that will walk in a run as Riley Hess comes in to score. It's 2-0 Spanish Fork. Newman, I believe, too, will get credited with an RBI. And now that brings up Brendan Bradford. As there's Jackson Higginson running over at third base. Bradford 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Takes that pitch low and inside for a ball. And it's 1-0 on Brendan Bradford. 2-0 Spanish Fork here in the top of the 7th inning. Don's a chance here with a ball in the gap to really open this one up. Bradford fouls this one away, and the count moves to 1-1. Bottom of the 7th inning for Maple Mountain, it will be Colin Reed, Caleb Peterson, Justin Hartman, 4, 5, and 6. That one misses low, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Maple Mountain all over Spanish Fork has runners at every base here. 2-1 pitch about to come home. Bradford takes that one over. Called strike 2, and the count evens up here at 2-2. Even if CB can get out of the jam with only allowing the 1 run, it's kind of a moral victory right there. And kind of a nice victory picked up by Jeff Seavey. The 2-2 pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt, ball 3, and the count runs full. And now the dangerous part, the runners can all be on the move, which means you'll see the runners, especially at first and second, Cy Nielsen and Briggs Newman take off. And this is where a ball in the gap clears the bases. From the stretch, the 3-2 on its way is going to be swung on and fouled away by Bradford. And we'll have another 3-2 pitch coming. You just get the idea right now with the weekend that Brendan Bradford had, and with the way it's kind of carried over here so far this evening, you have to think, if you're Spanish Fork, that Bradford is due. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. The pitch on its way. That one's going to be grounded to third. Roberts plays it on the back hop. The throw to first. Bang, bang, play, and they got him in time, and the inning's over. Spanish Fork, however, gets the 1 run back or they get one run to extend their lead here. A big run in the ball game. However, they only do it on, say, one base hit. They strand two. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Maple Mountain will send up Reed, Caleb Peterson, Justin Hartman, 4, 5, and 6. Looking to try to see here if he can get the run, get the run in. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors here for making this broadcast possible here this evening. We want to thank the Car Guys, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, 2 Jack's Pizza, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for making these broadcasts or many other broadcasts possible throughout the year. As right now, Spanish Fork 3 outs away from sweeping Maple Mountain in the regular season. We also want to take a quick moment here to remind you you can follow us on social media on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to keep up with the latest shows, live broadcasts, and our SF17 staff. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. So Brock Beckstrom will come out to begin the inning, at least here in the bottom of the 7th. Maple Mountain has been a team that they've been able to put some late inning rallies together. They had a shot in game 1 at the end with runners in scoring position to tie the game. And then Tay Newman kind of shut the door down. Over the weekend down in St. George in the game against Pleasant Grove, they had a shot late to try to see if they could get something going, but they just couldn't quite do it. So here's Colin Reed, the first pitch on its way, a fastball, and that one looks like it misses for ball 1. Reed 0 for 2, a ground out to the pitcher and a strikeout in his last at bat. Beckstrom ready to go. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way, misses low, ball 2, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Sun has gone behind the clouds. The lights pretty much right now the only thing on the field. The 2-0 pitch misses ball 3, and it's 3-0 on Reed. Not a big pane of lights here at Nelson Field, but enough to probably keep the field playable and lit up. 3-0 pitch, right, misses ball 4, and Colin Reed is aboard, so the tying run for Maple Mountain going to come to the plate here in the 7th inning. And here's Caleb Peterson.
Batting number 24, Caleb
Peterson struck out in the 2nd and was hit by a pitch back in the 5th inning. Now represents the tying run here for Maple Mountain. And ready to go. Here's the first pitch to Peterson. That one in behind Peterson. And that one almost gets the backstop. And it's going to be 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Caleb Peterson. Maple Mountain, we talked about Spanish Fork will get Salem Hills, and now we'll have a visit out here as Tyler Sorensen continues to throw down in the Spanish Fork bullpen. Spanish Fork gets Salem Hills next week, next Tuesday and Thursday. Maple Mountain will get Springville, and that will be a very competitive series, that game, and that will actually be, it looks like, a Monday-Tuesday scenario. So they'll play Monday and Tuesday against Springville, and they'll be at home on Monday for a 3:30 first pitch and at Springville on Tuesday. So that Springville team going to be very good. Head coach Willie Child has doubled up as the head football coach and also the head baseball coach now. So it's a 1-0 count on Caleb Peterson. The pitch blocked in the dirt. Colin Reed digs for second. A good throw by Cowden, but it's not going to be in time as Colin Reed advances 90 feet. Josh Cowden, a very difficult catcher to run against. And now head coach Casey Nelson comes out of the dugout. And I think now we'll have a pitching change as Tyler Sorensen will begin to run in. Brock Beckstrom really did well. 6 innings, pitched very well as Beckstrom goes for 7 strikeouts in 6 innings. Really pitched well. We'll see. It looks like we're actually not going to see Tyler Sorensen. It looks like we're going to see Tay Newman come in. So Tay Newman, who came in to throw for 1 batter in game 1, will now come in here in the 7th inning and throw. You're going to have a couple of changes as it's going to be number 23, Dylan Hall, come into the game. I'm assuming probably at third base, where we've generally seen Dylan throughout the season when it hasn't been Tay Newman. So Dylan Hall at third. It will be the pitcher, Tate Newman, who will come in. The right-hander will work for the second, straight ball game, you could say, against the Golden Eagles. The hitter will be Caleb Peterson, who has a 2-0 count against him. And Colin Reed will be the base runner on at second base. It's 2-0 Spanish Fork. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Maple Mountain looking to try to see if they can rally. They would need 2 runs to send us to the 8th, and they would need 3 runs to walk off and win it. And may not be easy against Tay Newman, the right-hander, as right now you see a nice view from behind home plate. As you can see, the infield maybe a little got that kind of yellow-like look on the infield, maybe a tad dry. The outfield, though, really nice green colors. Head coach Gary Miner makes those changes on his lineup card as Maple Mountain looks to try to see if they can come from behind here late in the ball game. Not going to be an easy task, as we'll get ready to get back to baseball here in a moment. Thanks for joining us here today on Spanish Fork 17. We've had 2 great broadcasts and 2 great ball games here, as Maple Mountain was able, Spanish Fork, took game 1 by a 3-1 final. And now once again, 2 very competitive ball games. So it should be exciting here on Spanish Fork 17 as we go throughout Region 8 play into the state playoffs. And kind of see here how the season plays out for both these schools. Here's Caleb Peterson. Peterson from the right side, and the first pitch on its way in there from Tay Newman for a called strike, and it's 2-1. Both these teams were in the Deseret News preseason top 5. Maple Mountain's played some tough teams, including Timpanogos, who may be, I don't necessarily know if there's a favorite right now. That one blocked in the dirt, and it'll be 3-1 on Caleb Peterson. 4A baseball has been really a tough thing to try to project because there's been so many great teams. Timpanogos, however, brings back so much off that team from a year ago that ended up winning a state championship that they're going to be a tough team to beat again this year. They might be in most eyes the preseason favorite. The 3-1 pitch in there for a called strike, and the count goes to 3-2 here on Caleb Peterson. But with the way Spanish Fork has been playing, with the way they've been combining good pitching with good hitting, boy, you have to think the Dons and Maple Mountain will be there. Salem Hill's probably going to be really good again this year. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That one fouled straight back to the screen. You can never count out Bountiful and Woods Cross up just north of Salt Lake City. So there's going to be some good teams once again, and I don't necessarily know if there's an all-out favorite or not here as we play throughout the high school baseball season, but we'll find out. It should be a fun year here on Spanish 417. The 3-2 pitch about to come home to Caleb Peterson. The pitch on its way, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Tay Newman gets the strikeout as Caleb Peterson down on strikes. The first strikeout victim for Tay Newman, and here comes Justin Hartman. Hartman 2 for 2 with a pair of knocks, a pair of singles in the ball game. One in the 3rd, one in the 5th. Maple Mountain would really like one of those here. Working from the stretch, and the pitch on its way. Checked his swing. Did he go? No, he did not. That one misses for ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Justin Hartman. Mikey Peterson on deck for the Golden Eagles. 1 ball and no strikes, ready to go. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that one low, ball 2, and it's 2-0. The count here on Justin Hartman. Tay Newman not having as easy of time as he had in game 1, having a hard time here finding the strike zone. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Newman working from the stretch. The pitch misses, low, ball 3, and it's 3-0 the count on Justin Hartman. Mikey Peterson, who's walked and had a sacrifice in the on-deck circle, would hit for Maple Mountain next if the inning should continue. The 3-0 pitch inside and hits the corner for a called strike. And it's 3-1 here on Justin Hartman. Outfield for Spanish Fork, everybody playing a pretty normal depth. Infield playing back here with 1 out. They'll Ball to the right side here. We'll get one runner over to third, and a 3-1 pitch taken for a called strike, and the count goes full on Justin Hartman. So Tay Newman right now just finding a ways to hit the strike zone, and right there just hit right on the corner for a called strike. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Newman ready to go from the stretch. The 3-2 is going to be lifted into center field. Brady Brook will go back on it, will make the catch. Tagging and going 90 feet up to third base is Colin Reed. And now with 2 gone, it's going to be Mikey Peterson coming to the plate. So with 2 gone, Peterson, who I guess technically doesn't really have an official at-bat today with the sacrifice. I know the walk doesn't count in the batting average. I don't think the sacrifice bunt will either. But Peterson right now, the tying run for Maple Mountain. Pitch on its way in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Mikey Peterson. If the inning continues past Peterson, Carter Shaw, number 25 in the on-deck circle, would hit for the Golden Eagles. The 0-2 pitch, low, blocked in the dirt, a good stop by Josh Cowden, and the count evens up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Maple Mountain gets Springville next week in Region 8 play. Spanish Fork gets Salem Hills. The 1-1 pitch about to come home, breaking ball in there at the knees for a called strike, and the Dons are 1 strike away from moving to 2-0 in Region 8 play and sweeping crosstown rival Maple Mountain. Newman from the stretch takes a look in behind the plate to Cowden. And the 1-2 pitch on its way is going to be a call. Strike 3. Ball game's over. And Spanish Fork sweeps Maple Mountain. And they take game 2 by a 2-0 final. Back-to-back strikeouts, or 2 strikeouts in the inning by Tay Newman and the Dons. A nice sweep over Maple Mountain. We'll take a break here on Spanish Fork 17. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up, including our MVP Sports MVP of the game. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
It's time to check your furnaces before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Well, a very happy, kind of a split emotion crowd today as Spanish Fork gets a sweep over Maple Mountain, a 2-0 win for the Dons. As you see Maple Mountain out running on the out in the outfield right now. One of those games where it really was a pitcher's duel back and forth between both of these ball clubs. Great pitchers duels in both ball games. Spanish Fork able to once again come through with those big hits when they had an opportunity with runners on base. Maple Mountain had a hard time getting base runners early on against Brock Beckstrom. Beckstrom kind of kept the Golden Eagles in check, and as you went throughout the ball game, it just seemed like those bats for Maple Mountain just had a hard time scoring runs. You have to kind of wonder, Maple Mountain can pitch, but can they score enough runs to help them win ball games? Going to be interesting to see as the season goes on, as this team kind of continues to kind of hit their stride a little bit, what kind of changes head coach Gary Miner will make. But right now you have to kind of wonder, can Maple Mountain score enough runs to compete well in Region 8? We know they can pitch. Can they hit? Spanish Fork, on the other hand, right now tonight and really the last couple of days, they've been able to find a way to get both timely hits combined with great pitching. And the Dons are going to be, it looks like they're going to be at the top of Region 8 at the end of one matchup and one series. They'll be at 2-0 atop Region 8, getting ready for a big game against Salem Hills. It's going to be interesting as you kind of see, we talked about that timely hitting and great pitching is a very key thing. We saw that last week with our MVP Sports MVPs of the game. Oftentimes went to pitchers in St. George. Well, tonight, those timely hits by Briggs Newman that brought home a couple of runs. One came with a single back in the 6th inning that gave Spanish Fork a 1-0 lead. That was his first RBI. And then his second time up, he draws a bases-loaded walk that brings in the second one. Briggs Newman, our MVP Sports MVP of the game tonight, as Spanish Fork wins 2-0. The Dons sweep the doubleheader here on Spanish Fork 17. They move to 2-0 in Region 8 play. Maple Mountain in an early hole at 0-2, but the good news is plenty of series and plenty of games left before the season is over. Right now, trying to finish in the top 4. The Dons get ready next week for a very good Salem Hills team. Maple Mountain will get ready for Springville. It should be a fun weekend for high school baseball, including here on Spanish Fork 17. For our entire Spanish Fork Community Network team, I'm Ryan Pickens signing off tonight from Nelson Field in Spanish Fork, where tonight it's a great night to be a Don.